Hello, everybody. What is going on? Good afternoon. Welcome to a rare afternoon edition of This is Tom's World Live. Um, so the time right now is 3:31 p.m. Eastern Time. It is January 15th. So if you are watching this at any other time, then you are watching a replay. Just to let you know, and I know that everybody that's going to be tuning in is going to have to see an ad before the video starts, and my apologies for that. It's just how YouTube works. So I figured I would come on here and just hang out with everybody. Once again, I was in another position where I wanted to make a video today. However, I was not able to do so. Um, and I'll get into that momentarily once I know that there are people able to see me and say hi and stuff like that. That way I know people have gotten past the ad. Um, I see that there's currently two people in here. So you may be watching the ad still. You might be watching me. I don't know. Let me know. Say hello, and we'll get started. I mean, once again, I have no agenda today. We're just hanging out. We're talking. Maybe come up with some ideas of places to go, places to visit. As I said, I did have a place I wanted to get to today. I did go to the place, but I was unable to make a video. Um, and it really stinks because it's a place that I wanted to get to, and I've been trying to find the time to get to, and it shouldn't be this hard because it's not far from me. Hey Scott, how's it going, man? I've been looking for you there. Last week, I was not at work a lot. Last week, I was actually sick. I got some kind of virus that was going around. It started a week ago this past Saturday and went up until probably about Thursday or Friday for me. So I was unable to be at work, but when I am there, I am always looking for you so I could show you where that spot is that I was talking about. Well, you know the spot, but I could show you what I was talking about, what it leads to. I've held off on making a video for that. I did film some video for it, or record some video, I should say, for it. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Um, I did record some video for it. However, I decided to delete it. I'm going to redo it. But I wanted to show it to you first because you brought that spot to my attention, and I wanted to show you, Scott, where that, um, what that leads to. It's pretty cool. But yeah, the video I wanted to do today, uh, I wanted to go over to where the last remaining buildings used to be for Byberry Hospital, Philadelphia State Hospital. I saw about a week and a half ago when I was over at Benjamin Rush cleaning up some litter along the boulevard, maybe more so like 2 weeks ago. Um, I saw that they had a bunch of vehicles over there and they were knocking down all the trees and cutting them down and everything. And oh, thanks, Patrick. I appreciate that. It makes it so much better when I know that people are appreciating it. It's not all for nothing. And I enjoy making them. I do the exploring, and I love that. But so yeah, I wanted to go over there, and I saw that they'd been knocking down trees and stuff. And I spoke to my boss, and she said that they're having intentions of leveling what was left, which the only thing that was left over there outside of the 55 plus community that they made just off of Southampton Road, the only thing that was really left was like the driveway that came in, the main driveway off of the boulevard up to the main administration building. And you could see the concrete around the building, like the parking lot and the roads around. And it was my intention of trying to get some video of that just so that I could kind of bookmark or bookend, that's not bookmark, but bookend the Byberry series that I was doing. However, that seems to be a moot point now because not only have they knocked down all the trees, but I see piles and piles of dirt all over the place, which means they've been excavating the land. So they yes, where the buildings were, the last buildings that remained. I mean, there's still the self help buildings on the other side of Southampton Road, And on the other side of Benjamin Rush Park, there is one building that they recommissioned. They redid it. I don't remember what it is now. It's some kind of kinder care or something like that. Something along those lines. Um, and I can get footage of that, at least the outside of it, just so that because you could tell it was still the same style of buildings that they had for Byberry. It's just the buildings on that side of the boulevard, where Benjamin Rush is, they've been long gone outside of the few ruins or remnants, I guess you could say, that I found. And what's up, Trish? What's up, Lori? How you doing? Glad to see you too. Um, yeah, yeah, they're and there's like piles of dirt, so they probably already got rid of the concrete. I was gonna stop, get out of my car, and yeah, oh yeah, I know. It's been a whole couple days or something like that. It's weird. Um, but I was gonna get out of my car and go up to the trailer and ask them if it's definitely like a no go. Nobody can go on the land. But when I saw the piles of dirt, I realized there's not going to be anything for me to really to shoot there. So unfortunately, the only thing that we'll have of that is the aerial shots, like Google Earth and stuff like that. But I can, like I said, I could still go to that other building that they redid, because they kept the same style and everything. And I'm sure there's still more little things that are nestled in the woods of Benjamin Rush State Park that are little remnants of Byberry. It's just unfortunately I'm not going to be able to get to that particular area because they're leveling it. They're getting ready to put in a warehouse there at some point. That little footbridge that goes over the boulevard from where the buildings of Byberry were to Benjamin Rush State Park, that's going bye bye too. So they're eradicating as much of Byberry as they can, little by little, over the years. And I guess I understand it. It's progress. Um, the tunnels, from what I understand, some of the tunnels are still under there. It's just a matter of how to get to them because most of the entrances of the tunnels were within the buildings and the buildings are gone. Now, I did hear a story that somewhere there is a doorway that can go down to the tunnels. And from what I was told quite some time ago, the tunnels, they were walled off every so many feet, like to prevent people from going down there, but they were always flooded too. And the person that was telling this story did say how flooded it was down there and everything. And I said, well, it has been since back in the 90s when my friends used to go down there. So yeah, but they're there. And if I find them, I will take footage of it. I will tell you what I won't do though. I will not show the location of the entrance because I don't want people to get hurt. I don't want people to go there themselves, and because there have been people who found these entrances and they did get hurt. And I probably wouldn't go down into them unless I felt it was safe enough. But even if I did, if they are walled off every so many feet, there's not real far I can get into them. But just to show them, to show that they do exist, because some people don't believe they did, and they do, most definitely. All right, Trish, thanks for stopping by. Waiting for the tree guy to get here. He's 40 minutes late. Yeah, well, hey, maybe the last tree he was taking down is giving him a problem, or a group of trees. You never know. Give him a little break, a little bit. I understand it's pissing you off. I get it. I get it. You hire somebody, you expect them to be there at a certain time when they say they're going to be there, but circumstances happen, and as long as he gets there and does what he's supposed to do, that's the important thing. I actually did make an Instagram page, and I used to put the link in the bottom of the description. Like if you look at the bottom of the description underneath the video here, I linked to my Facebook page. But it's just the Instagram at the time. There was no going live on Instagram and stuff like that, and not like it is today. So I kind of stopped doing that. I might get back to it. The Instagram is just Tom's underscore world underscore pics, PICS. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know. I'll get back to it someday, but for now, I'm maintaining the YouTube and the Facebook page pretty much. Oh, well, then there's no set time, as long as you're home and he gets there in the time you're home, and I'm sure he'll be home. What's up, Kate? How you doing? Man, I feel like it's been ever since we all hung out on that other live feed that we all do over at Things Network, the Fear Fans podcast. Last couple times I've been sick, so I haven't really been able to join. So yeah, he set 3 p.m. Wow. Well, all right. He's a little late. I'm feeling a lot better, actually. My dad is still has the lingering sickness that I had. I still don't know what it is. I went to an urgent care, and they didn't test me for anything. He just kind of looked at my throat and this and that, and said, "Yeah, it could be any one of the viruses that are going around right now." But I was at like the tail end of it at the time, so he just gave me some prescription cough medicine, some prednisone, and ibuprofen, and I've been feeling a lot better. I've actually been back to work one day so far, because when I went to the urgent care, that was Wednesday, and he said he definitely wanted me out of work for Thursday and Friday, so that I could take the medication and try to get better. And then Saturday I went back to work. Then I had off Sunday and today, so I go back again tomorrow. I look forward to it. I don't like when I spend that much time away from work. Um, as we know, I work at Neshaminy State Park, and I do love being at that place, even when it's freezing cold out, because I help take care of the place, and I have a sense of pride about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's quite a few viruses going around, and I was lucky enough to get one of them. I mean, when I came home 2 Saturdays ago from work, I was coughing quite a bit, and then by the time I got home, the coughing had like a scratchiness in my chest. It felt like needles inside my chest, and it was horrible. And it went on for a couple days, and then when it got to be time for me to go back to work, I messaged my boss the night before, and I said, "Listen, I'm going to have to do a sick day tomorrow." And then when that day came, I said, "I'm going to have to do another sick day tomorrow." And then finally, I called the boss's boss, and I let her know, "Listen, I don't know how long I'm going to be out. I'm going to be going to an urgent care." And she said, "As long as you bring the doctor's note." So I did that. That was all taken care of. But yeah, it's a lot better now. I even sound better now. I can hear it in myself. Yeah, my dad, he's getting better. He's not as bad. He didn't get it anywhere near as bad as I did, thank God. My dad has been through enough in the last, like, we'll say the last 10 years, basically. We've gone through a lot of things. He's been through multiple myeloma, which is a blood cancer. It never really fully goes away, but they've had it under control for quite some time. He had a procedure done for that. He got an infection in one of his eyes, which caused him to have to take pain meds at one point, which shut down his kidneys. We had him at the hospital for that, and then we got past that. Then we found out the infection was still going in the eye, so they had to remove that eye. So yeah, Dad's been through a lot, and I help out taking care of him here, as much as I can, and do everything that I can for him. And no matter how trying times get, it's uh, it's a job, but I do it because he's my dad. I have to. And of course, my family helps. My sisters help in getting him around and stuff like that. So I appreciate them for that very much. Oh, over at Bristol. Yeah, yeah. I saw a picture of that. I actually thought the picture was doctored. It looked like it was under so much water, but that was during the time where I was sick and I wasn't going out. But it did rain a lot during that time. And I know we have some trees down over at Neshaminy that have to be tended to as well. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was snowing out a little bit when I got back. Like I said earlier, I went out. I was going to go try to do a video where at Southampton, the Boulevard, where the last of the Byberry buildings used to be. But they're excavating everything and they're working hard over there, so I didn't want to bother them. So I just turned around and came back. And even as I was pulling into the driveway, I saw some flurries happening, and that was probably before 1 or maybe around 1, something like that. So I haven't looked outside since then, but I will be going outside a little bit later. Um, so I found out, for anybody that's, that's from the area and that watches YouTubers from the area. There's a local YouTuber. I've been following him for quite some time, and we've talked a couple times here and there via messages. And I was even on a live feed of his once, the Philly Captain. Tonight we have the Eagles game that's on tonight, and he's going to be in the area. He's going to be over at Nick's Roast Beef, not real far from me. And I thought, why not go over, say hi in person? That doesn't start until like 8:15 tonight, so I'll be uh, I'll be popping over there, just to pop in, have a beer or two, say hi, whatever. Figure he's in the neighborhood. It's a very, very short drive for me. It'd be a short walk for me too, but it's too cold out. I'm just gonna drive. But yeah, I'll stop by. I mean, I have to work tomorrow, so I can't be out real late. And if the game's starting at 8:15, I'm not gonna be able to be there for the whole game. Maybe I'll stay for the first quarter, maybe a little more, and just kind of hang out. Which it's always weird for me to be there without Stephanie, because that's our place. That's where we have our date night. So it's been that way for a long time now. We used to go over to the Eddington house at one point, early on in when we were together, and well, when we first got together, I should say. We're still together, but it was always just going here, going there, and then we settled on that place because, well, we like the bartender Mike. He's a cool guy. When he's always there when we go there, and he tends to us very well, and the food there is not bad. I mean, they don't have a huge menu, but like what they do have is pretty good. Let's see. Well, the history of the park I work at, which if you go to my channel when you have time, and you got nothing else going on, just look up Neshaminy State Park. Like, go to my channel, and when you're at my channel up top, you'll see like a little magnifying glass where you can search. Just type in Neshaminy, Neshaminy. It's an Indian tribe. I believe that was their tribe, Neshaminy. Yeah. But anyway, um, or you could just look up Sorobia. You'll see a bunch of stuff for that too. Um, I have tons and tons of hours of video on it, that you can watch. I do go into the history sometimes, but I've never really done a full on like official history video for it. And someday I'm going to. It's always been part of the plan. Um, and I'll probably incorporate some footage from the various videos where when I was discovering things there. And as far as paranormal activity, I always feel something like, so people who have been on this trip with me all along, with that park, they know the story that when I first was doing YouTube videos and I was just exploring wooded areas, I had some people come to me and say, "Hey, you should go to Neshaminy State Park." And I'm like, "Why?" I said, "There's an in-ground pool there. There's some woods, which are in a bunch of my videos, different wooded areas. There's the Delaware River, which is in a bunch of my videos. There's Neshaminy Creek. Big deal. What am I going to see? A bunch of trees." But then I looked into it based on something that somebody had said at one point, and I don't remember exactly what it was or who it was. And I started hearing about this garden that was in there, and I thought, "Hmm, garden, like a Humpty Dumpty on a wall and all that." I'm like, "Wow, well, this is a little intriguing." So I started looking into it, and I started coming across the a little bit of the history of the place. And I said, "All right, I got to find this garden." So I went there. I made my first video there. It was over an hour long. I walked around the entire perimeter of the park. It's 330 some acres, and I went everywhere but where the garden was. So I said at the end of that video, if anybody knows where this is, and somebody did say, they said that it was not far from the second parking lot, and it was like a 2-minute walk. I'm like, get out of here. So I found it, and the moment I walked into that garden, I felt a connection. I felt something. It was like I was walking into like a storybook kind of magical feeling. So I knew I had to have something to do with that place. And after multiple visits to it, I started talking to a couple of rangers from there. I came across them at a convenience store here, Wawa, and I was talking to them about it. And they said, "Well, if you want to become a volunteer and help, try to clear that out, you could talk to the park manager." So I got all that going and everything, and then eventually a group of other volunteers that joined me. We started to clear out the brick paths and the human chessboard there and everything like that, and it just became more and more magical as time has gone on, and it has eventually led me to work there. So, um, but the irony of that, and I've mentioned this multiple times, is that I had never volunteered anywhere before, and years ago, um, early, we'll say like 2014, somewhere around there, I was looking for a job at the time, and I was talking to my dad's twin brother who has since passed on. Um, and he had said to me, why don't you try to volunteer somewhere? He said, it looks good on your resume and you never know where it's going to lead. I was like, yeah, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, I want to give my time for free and not get paid. And then flash forward to 2020, and I start volunteering at this place, never giving it a second thought or anything like that, until I was talking to the maintenance manager there one time. And I said, what happened to all the plans that you said you wanted to do around the garden? He said, well, we're short staffed. He said, we've had a couple positions up on the website for a while now, and they're just nobody's biting. And I said, well, do you need any special skills to be part of maintenance? He said, oh yeah, yeah. He said, you need to know how to pick up trash, how to change trash bags, clean bathrooms, mow grass, weed whack. I said, well, I can do all that. He said, well, then apply. Bam. When I got that job, first thing that came into my mind was that conversation with my dad's twin brother. And I went, Uncle Jimmy, wow, look at you speaking to me from the grave. It was, so that was a long-winded version of that. But as far as paranormal activity goes there, I always feel something. Did I ever see anything? No. Have I heard things? Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. Let me catch up here. Yeah, you should go check out the garden. I mean, right now it's a little dismal, but it's winter. But during the spring and the summer when the flowers are blooming that we all planted there and that they continue to plant there, man, it's a beautiful place. It really is. Especially like right after I got done mowing there. That's right. Here we are. Kensington Ave, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Philly Captain's great. He's awesome. Great personality. Did I miss where you're talking about here? It says, with all the Indian burial grounds and many children from the orphanages were buried there. Absolutely a great place for paranormal activity. Sunbury Farms is another place. Another place. I mean, I don't know. I would think when I'm on the other side of life, when I've passed on, last place I would want to hang out in is where my body is. But that's just me. I don't know. But yes, Sorobia is most definitely magical. I love it there. Thank you. Oh, he's always keeping an eye out for me, and I know because my dad used to always say that Steve Miller's song "The Joker" was my Uncle Jimmy, right? And I remember him talking about that one time, and it was the three of us hanging out with my Uncle Jimmy's wife, um, and we were all sitting on the couch, right? I'm in the middle. I have my dad on my left side and my uncle on my right side, and we're all just hanging out, having beers, talking, and we're listening to music. Then we were talking about that, the Joker, and then the Steelers Wheels song comes on. stuck in the middle with you, where they say clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. And I thought that was ironic because my uncle, the joker, was on the right. And I guess that made my dad the clown in that scenario. So since my uncle has passed away, I am forever hearing the joker and stuck in the middle, like always in the same day, sometimes back to back, which is weird. And I feel like that's his way of letting me know that, I mean, even when I'm driving around in the car and I have like traffic that's just like totally got me fuming, like my face is red, I could feel it, and all of a sudden on the radio I'll hear the joker come on. I just look in the passenger seat and I go, all right, I know, I know, I know. Thank you. Yeah, I do love that garden. It's become very much a part of me. Um, and the same thing went for the guy that wrote the book about Sorobia, Mike Bergeron, or as he's known online, Mike Slickster, which I don't know what happened to him. I used to see him all the time at the park, and I have not seen him since last summer. So I'm hoping he's okay. But he got that same bug as soon as he started realizing things. He started delving into the history of the place, and he even wrote a book about it. It was definitely an interesting read. I went to click on a comment and I missed it. There we go. Well, that would be totally awesome. Totally, totally awesome. However, no more benches are going to go in the garden. Right now, there are 4 in there. There might be another one that goes in at some point that we will be putting in an older style bench, maybe, possibly. But there's 4 benches in there right now. One for the volunteers. They were the class of 1970 or 71 from the Neshaminy High School. They have one. One of the volunteers that we had, her children bought her a present of getting her a bench in there, and she has since passed away. So it's good that they did that because she's in there. They also planted a tree for her, and then there were 2 other benches put in for other people. So I think we're at capacity for benches. There's one pretty much in all 4 corners, roughly. Not many other places to put a bench without it being cumbersome for us, like taking care of the place, like as far as mowing and everything. But we do our best. Yeah. Oh, had cards, the Red Queen, Cheshire Cat in the tree. That I've never seen pictures of. If you listen, Cheryl, if you have pictures of that, please feel free to send them to me on my Facebook. The link for that's going to be down in the description here. It's just facebook.com/this is Tom's World. And I would love to see those pictures. I've never seen the Cheshire Cat. I've never seen the Red Queen. That this would be all new for me, and I would love it. And they would definitely get a part in one of my videos, possibly one of the the one that I'm talking about making the history of. Right, Kay, right on. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think I'd want to be around my body. I don't want to see it decomposing. I would be going everywhere else in the world, maybe out of this world, if it's possible for us to do that. But yeah, I would definitely go to places I've been. I'd be visiting people. I'd be seeing places I never got to see in person. Thank you. I appreciate that more than you know, man. Very much so. And don't get on me about a beer. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm allowed to have a beer on my day off. So yeah, so I didn't get to make that video that I wanted to make today over at Byberry, and that's not going to happen. But I will still. I'm always on the lookout for more stuff over there. I just get a little weary about parking over at Benjamin Rush State Park. And memberships, like, well, I mean, you can make memberships on a YouTube channel once you get monetized and stuff. I just have nothing more to offer people to create a membership, because when you have a membership, you should have things for members only, and I don't really, it's hard enough for me to get the videos out as often as I do, um, because of the lack of free time and weather and editing and just life in general. So, but at some point, maybe I'll get memberships going. Until then, if anybody ever wants to donate to the channel, they always can. Like right now, if you're watching this live, which you all are, over here on the side, you'll see a little thing with a dollar sign on it. It's like a super thanks or something like that. If you wanted to give money that way, you could. It's on every video, a super chat on here. I think it's called super something, whatever. It's got a little dollar sign on it, and it's a button over here. But on every video down below in this area somewhere, there'll be a super thanks for that, which you can always donate that way. Or you could always go to my merch shop, which is also down in the description. You could go buy some merch, get yourself some Tom's World gear. I combined world and gear, so don't judge me. And you could do it that way, or just simply sharing out the channel is another way to help support the channel. So and I appreciate it all. Or sharing out individual videos, like, hey, check this video out. This guy's pretty cool. It's snowing right now. Well, see, I can't see. I have my curtains closed, but I'll take your word for that. Oh, yeah, I would definitely love to see that. Yeah, if you have them, please, please, please find them. Send them along to me. That would make me so happy to see that. What are you laughing at? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do work hard. It doesn't seem like it's a lot of hard work. Um, but like going through the editing process alone, it can be tough, because like you guys might watch a 25-minute video that I have, but for that I have over an hour's worth of footage that I go through, and I remove a lot of stuff, like maybe too much wind, or maybe I mess up in something I say, or I just ramble, which does happen from time to time, and sometimes my rambles do stay in the video. Not often. If I had separate reels of just all the times I rambled and I removed them, I would probably have a totally separate channel just for that. Tom's World Ramblings. Um, but I can't help it. It's in me. I talk. It's what I do. This is why I do well with this stuff, because I can be walking through a wooded area all by myself talking to you guys, even though you're not there at that time, knowing that you guys are going to be watching it. And I just keep going and going like I'm actually having a conversation with somebody. Although I oftentimes wonder if people see me like just walking around with the gimbal in my hand and the phone in there, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's talking to himself. But this day and age, I mean, you never know. People have earbuds in, people talking, on FaceTime, stuff like that. So maybe not as weird now as it might have been, 20 years ago. But it's always fun to do the exploring, though. I do love that, which is, I mean, the whole premise of how this all got started. And I love when I find something that's just like been buried by time, something historical, or even if it's already been found by other people. Like when I come across it myself, it makes me happy. It's like, oh my God, look, this is a piece of history. Like when I did that cemetery over by, burial ground, I should say, over by where Jefferson Torresdale Hospital is, off of Knights Road. That goes back to the 1600s, the John Hart burial ground. Like, I mean, when you think about that, this particular area that I'm in here, I mean, that it went back that far, it's like, wow. Because like back then, when you think about that, it was all just farmlands and stuff like that, and families. Well, the Drexel family was there where the hospital is now. The Morels were not far from there. The I think their last name was Witherall, which is Sarah Logan's maiden name. Their house was where Holy Family College is now. And then you had the Sisterhood of the Sacred Heart over at Eden Hall. The last video I did, they weren't far from there. I mean, there's tons and tons of history. the Byberry Friends Meeting Quaker House, or Quaker Meeting House. Sorry, Byberry Friends Quaker Meeting House. There you go. I did that video, and I had a friend of mine do the narration for me. It was more like a documentary. There you go. That's the right word. Kind of style to it. And the history that's there. I mean, that the meeting house that's there right now goes back to what, the 1700s, but that's the third rendition of that house. It started out as a log cabin, and oddly enough, John Hart's burial ground, John Hart had something to do with that, because the meetings used to start at his house, which was on that land right there. And then they bought that other land, and then they made the first log cabin meeting house, and it just went on from there. I mean, you can find so much history just here in far northeast Philadelphia. And I mean, that's not to mention all of Philadelphia. Of course, we have, the downtown area, the historic district and all that. Over in Bristol, they have their historic district over where the wharf is, like we were talking about earlier. And what was it, the King George Second Inn or whatever it is? That's old as heck. I mean, there's so much history around that we don't think about. We just, we go about our daily lives and we drive past these things. Over in Humeville, there's history there with that old mill that's there. I mean, it's always like right in front of us, but we don't think about it. Also, over in Humeville, the coffee house that's there, that place has historic value for entertainment purposes. I mean, Houdini supposedly performed there. Abbott and Costello, I think, were supposedly there. Um, where was it? Over in the place that I wanted to go do a video that I can't because it says no trespassing, over in Chalfont, PA, Forest Park. Supposedly the Three Stooges performed in there. I mean, there is just so much around us, and if we just, when we're bored and we're online and we just look it up, you'd be surprised what you find. And to me, it's fascinating. The older I get, when I was a kid, yeah, I couldn't care less. But let's see, let me catch up here. Got a couple comments. I would have loved to have been able to see like some of the buildings that were part of the park there, Sorobia, like the carriage house, the barn, the mansion back in the 60s was still there. I would have loved to have been able to see all that. I mean, I've seen pictures, but I'd like to see video footage of it. It can be. Foot handy. I got it. It's dad jokes, man. I'm there. I got it. China Hall, yeah, but it's not what it used to be. Right now, it's like two little separate buildings, right? And it used to be one big building, and they demolished the part in the middle, and now I think one of them's like a school, and I don't know what the other building is, or maybe they're both school. I'm not sure. I did look into that, but there's not really much left to. I mean, the little bit. So the original building was like, it looked like those two buildings that are there, and then a bigger connecting thing in the middle. It was all one building, and now it's just two smaller buildings, and it's more modernized. So it's kind of, there's nothing real historical on the grounds that I have found in doing research of it, and they're not really too keen on people going over there. So I can imagine, Cheryl. I can only imagine. I mean, one of the volunteers that was part of the volunteer team there in the garden, um, he actually grew up. There were houses down by Neshaminy Creek, in the woods. Well, of course, they weren't woods at the time, but there were some houses there, and he lived in one of them as a kid, and he used to go in there. And he's much older, but he used to go in there, and he would go into the mansion. He would go, he would be constantly chased away by the caretakers and stuff like that. He was inside of Blossom Farley's tower. I mean, man, would I have loved to seen the inside of that. There's no pictures of the inside of it that I found. I'm gonna have to go back again to the Ben Salem Historical Society. Um, hey, there's my sister. It's my sister Kim. Kim, this is, well, I think I've done this before. Kim, this is everybody. Everybody, this is Kim. Um, yeah, it's not the same. So it's not. I don't know. I'd have to look into it again, but I do remember just getting discouraged when I was looking into it before, especially once I found out they're not really keen on people going out there with making videos and stuff like that. So, um, but I'm always all about wanting to find anything historical so that I can document it here because you never know how long something is going to be there. Case in point, look, they're ripping up the little tiny bit of the roadways that are left of the old Byberry Hospital. Gone, never to be seen again. I mean, there's pictures, plenty of pictures of the buildings, of inside the buildings. There's even videos that people took and uploaded to YouTube from when they were traveling around exploring inside the buildings and the tunnels. And it's I would have loved to have been able to be there to record some of that stuff, but what am I going to do? I didn't start making videos until 2020, and those buildings have been gone since what 2007. So, but I still find little things here, little bits of Byberry left over in Benjamin Rush State Park because it spanned both sides of the boulevard. So it was definitely not a happy place. I mean, they made that in 1907. Oh, James, what's up, brother? Wow, I haven't seen that name come up in a while. Holy crap. Um, so they opened up Byberry in 1907. By the 1930s, the state took over it, and that's when a lot of the problems started happening. The mistreatment of the patients, understaffing. They were combining in the violent patients with the non-violent patients. I mean, and a lot of the things that they put them in there for back in those days are things that are easily just everyday things now. Like if somebody had ADHD back then, they didn't have a name for it, but if they had those tendencies, they would have went right in there. Just mild depression, but there were also manic people in there as well, and they would all be mistreated. They were all experimented on, different types of lobotomies and electroshock therapies and stuff. Like, it was really, really, really sad. And there's plenty of videos out there of people talking about it, and tons and tons of stuff to read about that. That documents everything that happened there, and it was all state hospitals across the country. But this one they made an example out of, and they finally shut the doors. They decided to do it in the late 80s, and then I think it was like 1990 by the time they finally shut the doors and shipped out who was left to where they had to be. Um, Very, very sad story. And I had a friend for a long time in my life, and we no longer talk. But she was like an authority, pretty much on a lot of the history of Byberry, and I learned a lot from her about it in talking to her over time, and I learned a lot on my own as well. That would be cool too. Yeah, but there are tons of pictures and video footage out there of people going through there and being up on the roof. I saw video footage of the auditorium, the theater. Just I think it was just yesterday. I was watching it. It's like, wow, I remember that place. Like up on the stage, there's like some demon, cartoony demon drawn on the wall. On the sides of the theater, there's like really tall, shadowy figures drawn on the wall and stuff. It was definitely an interesting place. I remember being in there. I was only in there a handful of times, but I remember being in there with my friend Mike during the daytime, and we were cleaning out one room. Um, I think it used to be a church, but we were just clearing all the debris out and everything, and just for something to do. And so we had a place to hang if we wanted to go back that was clean. And then we started wandering through, and we found one of the morgues, and that was kind of creepy. But it's sticking your head inside of the where the drawers were and everything, looking down, and the paperwork that was all over this place. It was going back to 19 something, 19 something teen. um and it was just scattered all over the place. Medical supplies, nothing really dangerous. I mean, it was dangerous to be in there because you never knew when the roof would cave in on you, or the ceiling would fall, or the floor would give out, or anything like that. But it was definitely a cool place for urban exploration, we'll say. A lot of people did go there, and they even have Facebook groups and stuff like that devoted to it. I've come across them here and there, and I posted a couple of my videos there. Uh, I can't remember exactly which ones, but not many. I mean, I pretty much stay to the same groups when I post my videos, unless I'm doing something out of town, like during the holidays when me and Stephanie were traveling throughout PA and stuff like that. Then I'll find a group for that area and I'll post it to theirs, just so that they could see that outsiders have come there and they enjoy their town and stuff like that. Um, and there'll be more of that in the future. There's some things that I'd like to do up near the Pocono area, Jim Thorpe kind of area. Um, there's places out in central PA that I want to get to and check out. There's like an abandoned um, amusement park out there where the trees are like growing through all the stuff, like the Ferris wheel and the roller coaster and stuff like that. Looks really cool. There's places out on in Western PA that I'd like to get to. There's an entire town out near Pittsburgh that's just abandoned. I forget what it's called, like Yellow Dog or something like that. Um, would love to see that. I still want to go see Centralia. I know that place has been done to death by YouTubers, but I still want to see it for myself. And of course, I'll document it while I'm there. Concrete City is not too far from here, maybe an hour's drive. I want to see that for myself as well. That was an interesting history too. There's a lot of things out of town that I definitely want to get to, but I want to find everything I possibly can here in my little neck of the woods and document it, because like I said, you never know when things are just going to go away. I mean, even with the Chamonix State Park, we never know. One day, the state might deem it like a liability or something, or that they don't want it anymore and they want to sell off the land and they figure they'll make more money that way. They do that, Serovia is gone, just gone. And the main place where people could find information about it, at least video wise, would be my channel. So at least I have it documented. Civil War hospital that was in the woods near Grundy Mansion. It's the industrial park now. The place was really cool. So it's gone now, right? No longer there, which would stink. But hey, I mean? If people have pictures of it, they can at least cherish that. But no, I never heard about that. I know out near Silver Lake, there's Delhas Woods. That's another place that I intend on getting to at some point. There's just some foundations left over from some munitions buildings that they had that made ammunition and whatnot during like World War II and stuff like that. And there's not much left to it, but it's something to document. And I've seen some fellow YouTubers went there. Rustic Ventures. I found that video of theirs, I think, before I found anything else, and they had a different name at that point. Their channel was something different, and I can't remember what it was called. Outdoor Random Adventures or something like that, I think it was called. But then they changed it to Rustic Ventures. And they've been to a lot of cool places. And because of them, I've been to some places. I mean, had it not been for them, I wouldn't have found the abandoned prison farm. I would not have been at that old water or Italian style water garden that was down by Swarthmore. I went there. That place was really cool. And it was awesome to finally see it in person, because, a couple of years had gone by since the first time I saw it. And that's the thing, I mean, when you find places online, you see pictures of it and videos, and then you go there yourself, it's a totally different experience. So, I mean, even with my videos, when you watch them, if you ever get the chance, go to these places yourself and see it for yourself. It's a totally different experience. And then when you come back and you watch the videos again, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. And I saw that. And it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's gone. The Underground Railroad went there. Oh, you're across from Delhas. All right, cool. Yeah, I know the Underground Railroad actually went through Bristol. There's a statue of, what is it, Harriet Tubman there. um, down at the wharf, and I know one of the houses that they use for the Underground Railroad is still there, and you can find it. Like there's a whole history app you can download to go around Bristol, and it'll show you where the different places are, and that's one of the stops on there. I just never used it myself, but I know of it. I think the Philly captain mentioned that actually. He was there a couple times. I think one time he just walked around. Another time he did a little scoot around town, or maybe he had his bike or something. But yeah, that's another cool area, it's an area that I do want to do a video of. Unfortunately, though, every time I've gone there to do a video, which hasn't been many times, just a handful, it's always super windy down there, so it makes it a little tough because I don't have like an external microphone. I just use the microphone that's on my phone, um, and when the wind kicks up, it makes it really hard to hear. Yeah, Concrete City. It definitely looks cool. I mean, they did their best to try to destroy that place after they put it up there and it failed, but they couldn't. They were using like sticks of dynamite to try to blow the place up. They just made it too indestructible. Even time hasn't really done much to it when it comes down to it. But they were like complete buildings made of concrete. And I think they came in like two pieces, two big pieces that they put together or something like that. I remember watching a history video about it long time ago. Um, but they just it's just it was an idea for a village, if you want to call it that. That just it never took off. They had problems with the area. I think what was it, flooding and stuff like that. They had multiple different problems, and then they wound up having to abandon the whole project. But there were already people living in these places, and when they were living in there, the place looked cool. But whatever the issues were they had, they were just too great, and everybody had to abandon ship basically. But it's another cool place that I definitely want to get to. Maybe in the warmer weather, but not the summer. Maybe the beginning of the spring. When things just start to warm up, but not everything has come to life yet. I think that'd be a good time to go there. I definitely want to go back to that place though, down by Swarthmore when everything's in bloom, because I'm sure that place looks awesome. I mean, it was fall when I went, so everything was pretty much going into its slumber state. So, um, and I do have a tendency to revisit some places. It's just like the last video I did, Eden Hall. I was there. I did a whole video on that once before, and then when I did the video on Morell Park, I actually went back there again towards the end of that video to show the cemetery, because that's where Edward Morell was buried. Nancy, what's up? Holy crap. Long time no see. Been a very, very long time. Hope you're doing all right. Haven't heard from you in forever. But but yeah, there's still a lot of places for me to find yet. There's a lot of places for me to travel to. Uh, one of these times, one of these times that I get to Atlantic City, I will make a video there. Again, it's another place that's tough because you're right there on the ocean and it's very windy. Um, but if I make a video there, I promise you all that somehow I will muster the strength to get past my fear of heights, and I will go up into the lighthouse and take a video from up in there too. It's not easy when you have a fear of heights, believe me. At least, at least. I mean, I don't even think I've talked to you that many times since you and Dom came here, and that was wow. That was what, August of 21, July of 21. I mean, we've talked here and there, but not a whole lot. But I do miss you. I've thought about you from time to time to see how you're doing. Of course, then by the time I get on my computer, I get busy with other stuff, and excuse, excuse, excuse. But it works both ways. You still doing the online jewelry sales? 'Cause I haven't seen any of those come up as far as like video feeds and stuff like that like I used to. I didn't want to say the name and just in case you're not doing it anymore. But but yeah, as always, I mean, if anybody has any requests of places for me to go to or suggestions of places for me to check out, even if it's just like a cool wooded area, it doesn't have to have anything historical in it. If it's just, something unique, I'm always willing to check stuff out. And you can always send me a message on my Facebook page, which the link to that is in the bottom of the description here, as the bottom of the description of every video of mine. And you can send me a message saying, "Hey, check this place out," or maybe you might want to look into this or whatever. I'm always up for it. And when I get stuck for places, because sometimes a message will get buried in other messages, and I'll forget that this particular place was requested, and then when I get stuck for a place, I'll go back through my messages and try to find and go, "Oh my god, yeah, I never did look into that." So always willing to check it out. Oh no. Aw, thank you. Well, I hope you're feeling better. I myself just recently went through being sick, but it was like a virus that was going around. So the Courier Times does have pics of Sorobia. There was two articles made. Oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Um, I should not be blanking on his name. Let me see if I can bring up his name. Laveau, Carl Laveau. He has done two articles on Sorobia. He did one. Oh, yeah, there you go. You said you had it right there. Thanks, Scott. Yep, Laveau. Um, uh, so he did one on Sorobia years ago, not a lot of years ago, but years ago, and he was just talking about it basically and showing pictures of it, and my mom had come across his article and she reached out to him and let him know what me and the other volunteers had done there and everything. He reached out to me and we had a little conversation going, and he wound up doing another article which I got to be involved in, which came out in recent times. um, See if I can trying to find the article. Hmm. Where is ah? So I'm going to see if this is one of the ones that lets me read it. Mm, sorry, because like I could give you the link to the Carrier Times article, but you won't be able to read it unless you have a subscription. And there was another way to read it. My hair is just coming out of the top of my hat there. Let's see. Mind me as I look this up. My apologies for the dead air type thing going on here. Let's see if I Sorobia Laveau. It won't even let me bring it up to copy the title. Let's see. do a search from the title of that. Not on Philly Burbs, but there was another link for it that I found. Well, if you go onto my Facebook page, I don't post a whole lot of stuff on my Tom's World Facebook page outside of little messages here and there once in a while, but mostly my videos. And if you scroll through, you'll find the link to the article, and in the comments of that, I mean, maybe I could do it that way. In the comments of that, you'll find the link to where you can actually read the entire article. That's weird. I just saw myself live on my on my Facebook. It's down a little ways. I did take some pictures while I was out gallivanting around PA. Looking for the article. Shouldn't be too far. There it is. And then view comments. Wait a minute. Should be there. I know I put it in the comments there. I'm looking. Very strange. Well, I'll have to see if I can somehow find the article. I'll get back to the live feed here, but I got to be part of it. So some of the pictures that are in there are from him. And let me go back to see. One was removal of the Cheshire Cat. Huh. I'll have to look that up when I get done on here. Cheshire Cat and Sorobia. Oh, not Tacony, Betsy Ross. It's right under the Betsy Ross Bridge. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm going to have to try to plan it when I know for sure that it's going to be low tide. I think there's something online that you can look up that shows you when's going to be like high tide, low tide times. But I'm definitely going to be checking that out. I mean, I've seen a few videos. Again, Rustic Ventures was there, and the Philly Captain was there a couple times, and I definitely do want to check that out for myself. Bristol Cemetery. Which cemetery in particular in Bristol? I don't think there's one called Bristol Cemetery. But I mean, I know there's one. Well, there's a few old cemeteries. There's even one here, like Cornwall Heights on 13, that I haven't gone into yet. That's got some pretty old looking things on it. Oh, that's awesome. Welcome to the channel, man. Thank you so much. By the bowling alley? Well, there's that one on 13 too. That's like, that is just past the Croydon line there in the Bristol. But okay, there you go. That's what you were talking about. I've walked through there before. I mean, I grew up not only here in far northeast Philly, but I also grew up over in Croydon. My stomping grounds was like Old Croydon, New Croydon area, more so Old Croydon. But quite a few times we used to go bowling and stuff there, and we would walk through that cemetery, or there was somebody that lived in the houses in the back streets behind that, or would just boredom walking through looking at the tombstones and stuff. But I can't say I really remember years, because I mean I was a teenager then. So, but yeah, I'm sure there's some pretty decently old ones there. I mean, it doesn't look like a brand new cemetery by any means, Now the one in Cornwall Heights looks even older because it's surrounded by a wall and they're pretty much limited. I don't think they're putting people in there anymore at all. Oh, okay, on Cedar Ave. Yeah, I'm quite familiar with Cedar Ave. Cedar Ave, like where the bridge is that all the trucks get stuck at because they're too tall to go under the bridge, the train track bridge. Constantly seeing that in the Croydon groups, which I do belong to. I'm sure there's some that I don't belong to, but yeah, my grandparents had a house in Croydon as well, which now my mom lives in. So, um, but I spent a lot of time there when I was a kid. I didn't really like a lot of the neighborhood kids around here. I had a few that were friends of mine, um, but for the most part, I didn't really like it here when I was a kid. So every during the school year, every weekend I was at my grandmom's. All summer long, I was at my grandmom's, and I had my group of friends there. Some of which converted into friends here because they moved here. But but yeah, I had some good times there. Growing up, it was a neat experience growing up in Croydon. It's different now, way different than it used to be. Looks a lot the same, minus some stores like Two Girls Deli's gone. The deli on Cedar Ave, that's gone. Um, Blask's that just shut down this year. It's crazy. Oh, yep. Been there. Did a video there. Gotta go check it out. It's on my channel. Um, let's see what I called it. Wasn't real long ago either. Was St. Mary's Cemetery in Ben Salem. So the thumbnail says Ben Salem Cemetery, almost lost to nature. You check that out. I'm pretty sure that's the one you're talking about. Oh, cool. Wow. Look at us. We're all just a little community here. Yeah, yeah. The Betsy Ross Bridge. Oh, off the top. I'm thinking of the top of my head. I'm like, what's on the top of my head? Sorry, brain fart. Off the top of your head, what is the backstory for those headstones under the Betsy Ross Bridge? So, I see now. You said off. um, so what it was is, and I'm not sure what the actual location was. It was near Temple University. There was a cemetery, and Temple was expanding at the time, and uh, they needed a parking lot near this building that they were making, or maybe they made a building there. I'm not sure exactly. I think it was a parking lot. So this cemetery was there, and again, I don't recall the name of the cemetery, but Temple was back and forth with the city, and they eventually wound up buying the land. Now, supposedly, they moved all the bodies of everyone that they could get in touch with the families with, which there were actually more people they couldn't get in touch with than there were the people that they could. So the ones they could, they got permission to move the body and give them brand new headstones and put them into a different cemetery. Again, not sure where. I'm sure the story of it's got to be online somewhere. And if I did a video of it, it would probably be fresh in my head. So maybe that's my kick in the butt to get a video going so that I have that knowledge. Um, but so the people that they could not get permission, they just moved all the bodies and put them into one mass, big, huge grave with like a memorial marker. Um, and then they wound up turning that into the parking lot or whatever. And then so since they all got new headstones, they took the old headstones and put them underneath the Betsy Ross Bridge and around that area as means of like a breaker for the waves, I guess prevent like from the water from running up onto the land and stuff like that. This is the story we're told. For all we know, they may not have moved one single body, and it would not surprise me, not in the least. But that's the story of those. And you can still see the names and dates and everything on a lot of those stones. Um, so that is another place that I'll be getting to. But that, seeing as how it's like right there on the water, I'll probably wait for the warmer weather for that. See, I have a little bit of knowledge of a lot of things, and a lot of knowledge of a little bit of things. But you know, I help where I can. Anyway, so I've been at this for an hour and 10 minutes, and it's getting close to time to start thinking about dinner. I got to make dinner for me and Dad. I got to get him something to eat. Build up his strength, and then I got to start figuring out what time I'm going to be heading over to Nick's Roast Beef, make a little appearance over there, say hi to the Philly captain. Um, oh, we got another message came in. No, I have not been there. Definitely send that to me in a message as well on my Tom's World Facebook, as a little reminder, and I'll definitely look into that. Cemeteries are all very cool, especially when they have a story behind them, and and it's part of history. Obviously, I mean, that's can't get any more history or historical than the final days there. You're in there at your home now. Well, your physical home. Anyway, but yeah, always feel free to send me any messages. Feel free to share out any or all of my videos, the channel. Make sure you support the channel in any way you can, and even if you don't, just by merely watching the videos, you're doing me a solid. You really are, and I'm glad that everybody appreciates them. And yeah, I guess I will get ready to get out of here. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Thank you all for the comments. You guys are awesome. You guys are beyond awesome, to be honest. And I guess I'll see you all in my next video. Make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. See you later.